Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of The Artist Matters. I'm your host, Alex Rudy, and today we got actor Lou Lentino-Rodriguez. I met Lou back in 2000, I believe. We had a mutual friend, and I was casting people to be in my short film about trying to be in the next Spider-Man movie. It was a contest through the magazine Wizard, and I gave him a part in that. And I also had him do voiceover for my Avengers Under Siege comic that I just wanted to create and produce and add music and sound effects, and he did a few characters for that. But that's just a small section of Lou's journey. He was born in the 70s, just like me, and grew up in that era, knowing at an early age that he had this performer's blood in him, that he had to create, whether it was making imitations of famous people or performing in music bands. He knew he had this creative side in him, and he had to figure a way how to channel it, and how he ultimately found acting as his passion. He found a way through all life's hardships, sometimes taking detours, but always going back on the path of pursuing acting, whether it was starting off as being an extra in a TV show, doing some local theater, even stand-up. Lou stuck with it. He is a fighter. He is an embodiment of perseverance, let me tell you, because we're around the same age, and just now is when things are starting to take off for him, with roles in The Blacklist, Gotham, and High Maintenance, to name a few. It's great to see someone's hard work finally start to pay off. And as you'll see, he is stuck with it no matter what. He doesn't give up, and that's a real important thing if you want to be an actor. You got to be in it for the right reasons, not looking for fame or fortune. You got to know that this is a passion, and you, of course, have to work at your craft. Lou made sure he took classes, learned more about acting, and polished himself so that when the opportunities came, he was ready for them. He's also coming out with a memoir, which will be a much more detailed version of the stories you're about to hear. So without further ado, let's get into this. Here is my interview with Lou Lentino-Rodriguez. All right, there's Lou. How you doing?
All right, how you doing, Alex?
Great to have you on the show.
I think there's spiders in here.
Really? No, we don't want them on the interview here. That would stink. So, Lou, where and when did your story begin?
Well, Bayshore, Long Island, where I've lived most of my life. When I basically knew what I wanted to do since I was 3, but like running around the house and doing impressions of everybody you could think of. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, whether it was cartoons or it was, Clint Eastwood and all the major TV stars. I was just doing them, even Jimmy Stewart. Like, I just didn't realize, I was doing an impression. I was just mimicking the guy. But, so it started off knowing that that's just what I did for fun. But it was the most fun. It was what at one point I took all my stuffed animals and put them in a circle and pretended I had a radio show. Once you had a tape recorder, you could do anything.
Yeah.
It's not as good as having a video camera. I wish that we had a video camera years ago, but
back in the day.
I remember, as much as I hated school, anytime it came down to play or a part where the teacher said, you're going to read this part. That was the most exciting moment for me. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember in elementary school walking out onto an empty stage in the gymnasium with nobody there and just feeling like this is the place. It was strange because there was nothing going on. Like we were getting ready to play dodgeball or something. Mm-hmm. But
how old?
Just kindergarten up.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you've
always... Second grade was the first time I was on stage performing.
Second grade? What was it?
Yeah. It was a Christmas show, and I was a dancing snowflake.
A dancing snowflake.
And then they wanted to change me to be one of the trees singing "Oh Christmas Tree," and I said, "Oh no! I'm dancing to rock, Jingle Bell Rock as a snowflake with my friend because we were going to be the Jackson 2."
Jackson 2. And you were, I guess, as snowflakes, right?
Yeah.
As far as snowflakes.
It started then, and like I said, I lived here all my life. I moved upstate when I was 12 and came back when I was 19 because there was no way I was going to have an acting career upstate New York.
What made you move all the way up there?
We had some trouble at home for quite a few years with my stepfather, and my sister had ran away and moved up there, and then she took my brother up there, and then it was just me and Mom here, and she figured we'll get away, and we ended up renting the house out down here, and I lived up there for 7 years, from 7th grade till I graduated, and then we came back down. I mean, we always visited, but every time we came over to Throgs Neck Bridge, I'd cry.
Aww.
And then every time going back, I'd cry again, and Mom would say, "Stop crying, you're going to get me crying." So, we always knew we were coming home, but we didn't know when, and then the summer of '88, we moved back home.
So was this creative spark always acting? Were there any other?
Yeah, I mean, I love to sing, dancing. I saw Saturday Night Fever, and I was hooked on the music and the dancing, but I remember being shy about dancing because my stepsister used to always, dance, and I guess it was something about watching. And as I got older, especially in high school, I saw so many people dance so ridiculous that I said, I am not going to be that. Not realizing how much rhythm and skill I had to dance because my father was an excellent dancer and my mom could have been a rockette. She was, she danced to everything. She used to dance and sing on the radio, so she used to tap dance. So all of that, I never realized I had in me until it was too late because then, sports had damaged my body a little. And I mean, I still ended up going out and dancing my butt off constantly, but I would have liked to been a triple threat because of how much I love the other ends. I love to dance. I love to sing. It feels just as good.
So was family encouraging for your acting?
Oh yeah, my mom. Like I said, somebody went to her school when she was a dancer, and they heard her dance and pointed her right out of everyone and said, "We want her." She could have been a rockette, but my grandmother said no because she had to be 18 or get a parent signature, and she said no. You're gonna get married. You're gonna have a family. Blah blah blah. And Mom, she could dance, and so she knew. Right away, always what I wanted to do. And she told me when I was very young that you're not, I'm going to tell you something. You're not just going to walk out there and be a star. And I thought, I can deal with that, and matter of fact, my mom's cousin is Jimmy Durante. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
But, yeah, so
cousin.
When she was cousin. So if you look it up on Wikipedia, you see his mom's name was Lentino. When she was younger, I guess he had mentioned something about the fact that even though who he is, he wouldn't be able to do anything, which I don't think is so much true because we know how many people make it from who they know opposed to what you know.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe it's funny because with all the animated stuff, I mean, in school, was I a class clown? Yes. Was I a class clown that I wouldn't say I constantly got in trouble like a regular class clown would because I was worried of getting in trouble because my mom. What happened was, all the physical, all the faces, all the things that was just so loose in the body, I always wondered where it came from. Now, just recently I had seen a video of my grandfather. I never met him. He died 10 years before I was born. And he was the one that's Jimmy's first cousin. And same face, same, gestures. And I always wonder where I got it from. We saw this videotape. Unfortunately, it didn't have sound, but I saw his physical comedy, and I went, oh, my God, that's where I get it. Even my neighbor turned and said, that's you. But I realized that that's also in that line of the family because that's how Jimmy was. And when you see how even old footage of my grandfather at the house and at my mom's wedding, I mean, it was so evident that that's where it comes from the toes to the head to the face to the every gesture, even when he wasn't making a sound. And, so I just always went with it because I thought something was wrong with me. That's just how I am. The same thing with one of our close friends said years ago, oh, I thought that was just a phase as far as the acting. And you know how much hard work we put into classes and rehearsing and plays and traveling and headshots and all that whole mess. The rejection, a phase? Are you kidding me? And, and then there's people that just, I hate to use the word jealous, but it's like, oh, I wanted to be an actor. Oh, I should be an actor. Oh, that's easy. Oh, acting's easy. I should do this. But then they don't want to hear anything good. Like, I have a cousin like that. I have, like I said, there were aunts and uncles that kind of just shook their head like, what a dreamer.
Yeah, you're always going to have the haters.
Yeah, it's too bad because we all need that positive encouragement.
Of course. Well, that's hopefully what this podcast will be. An encouragement to people to see if he can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's one thing I would never... I mean, I remember when I was 19 working at Jack LaLanne and one of the managers there, yeah, I used to be an actor. I don't want to burst your bubble, but, it's tough business. And that's the other thing. Everybody that never did it, never gave it all their all, they all are experts on telling you how hard it is when you live it. You know how hard it is. They always want to say, well, I did it. You shouldn't bother. Well, don't be angry that, you're a car salesman because you wanted to be an actor and then knock somebody else for trying to do it.
Yeah. All right. You were doing all these fun things as a kid and getting older. And so what made you decide, you know what, this is a career that I could pursue? What pushed you?
You have to remember in the 70s, all the TV shows we saw with kids our age or kids that resemble you. Ralph Macchio and 8 is Enough. I mean, all the way to karate. My friends still call me the Karate Kid because that's how much we looked alike. And he was from Long Island. But there were others, Albert on Little House. I remember when The Champ came out, I was so upset because Rocky had already been out. And of course, I'm more of a Stallone looker than I am anybody else. But here they had a blonde-haired kid playing this part, and I thought that was my role. And the funny connection there is my brother used to model when he was younger. He had the all-American look. He got picked for every job. That's really what started, I have to say, as much as I knew I was a performer and what I wanted to do, now it was professionally in the business. So when my mom was running him to the city and doing all those things, I knew I wanted in. Turns out, him and Ricky Schroeder started the same day at the same agency. I still have pictures of them, like in J.C. Penney and, modeling tank tops. And my brother was on Mott's Prune Juice. And, I mean, he got work, and they loved him. And he would have continued working, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But so at that time, my look wasn't in. So nothing really happened there. Then before you knew it, we were out of that business professionally. But I just knew when it's all said and done, when it's over, what I was going to do. So flash forward to high school. Well, not quite high school yet. In 12th grade, I got my first lead role in a church play. And it was very good. It was very emotional. It was I played an abused stepchild. And my mom actually played my social worker. So that was a nice taste. And then I tried joining drama club. And I was a wrestler. So I went up to the drama teacher after being in it for a little while. And I said, listen, wrestling seems